Donald Trump riding high after a big primary wins, I should say, 3 in a row, and a commanding performance last night at the debate.
And according to one political scientist, and he's a professor, he's saying things are going to get even better for the big-time businessman.
His primary statistical model, which has accurately predicted almost every election going back to 1912, says that Mr. Trump has a 97 to 99% chance of being president.
Wow.
Here to explain is the professor himself, Stony Brook University political science professor Helmut Northpath. Professor, thanks for being here.
Well, thank you very much for having me on for
What's this formula?
Well, it's a formula that takes into account how the candidates do in primary elections, and it says essentially the candidate who does within a party that does better against the competition wins the general election.
Okay, and right now, according to this statistical model, you say that Trump has the odds of Donald Trump winning are 97 to 99%.
Yes, against Hillary Clinton as the other candidate, yes.
How do you figure that, though, being that we're so early in the process?
Well, I have looked at elections in the past, and I have seen that the New Hampshire primary in particular is a very good predictor of what happens. And, for example, the last time in 2012, at this time, I predicted that Barack Obama would win re-election. And he did, and I've done this for several elections since 1996 ahead of time.
But he was virtually running unopposed. How would you be able to...
Yes, that's a very good sign. If you're a sitting president and you're running unopposed in the primaries, New Hampshire already will tell you that you have no opposition, and that's almost a sure bet that you're going to get reelected.
Because so many people say that this election is so much different than anything that we've seen in history. Is there any, do you have any doubts about your predictions this time around, as accurate as they've been?
Well, I have to say that if you win the first two primaries, it's very, and the other candidate in the other party does not, and if it's Hillary Clinton or Bernie Sanders, they did not, it looks like, we haven't seen it yet, like South Carolina hasn't happened yet, but we have the polls. And I think that would typically tell you something about the outcome. Now, I will still look at some other primaries, Super Tuesday next week, and I will sort of factor that in, and that might change the likelihood. It might make it a little less likely, perhaps, given how that turns out.
One other factor probably going into Super Tuesday is the bandwagon effect, given that Donald Trump has won 3 already. You know, more people are going, well, maybe there's something about him I like. I'm going to invest myself in him.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people believe that there's something like momentum in these primaries, and that you build up support, and I think it's very hard for
right. You missed one. It was Al Gore, but Al Gore had the popular vote, so it kind of threw you off.
Al Gore did win the popular vote, and that's usually
you got that right.
Well,
he did.
I got the popular vote right. I didn't control what happened in Florida, so that's a little out of my range.
And are you a Trump supporter?
I try when I make forecasts not to get any of my choices in the way. It's like the weather, okay?
There you go.
You always like to predict good weather.
Sure.
That doesn't mean that if you see a storm coming, you'd deny that.
That's right. All right.
Professor,
thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for having me.
Stuff.
Thank you.